This review is of a Bach 5C Megatone mouthpiece. You've all seen the Megatones. I've done reviews on them before. And the Megatone has added mass, which increases inertia, and it improves the standing wave efficiency. And what that means is that your standing wave cannot exert enough energy against the tubing wall or the mouthpiece wall to overcome inertia and transfer energy into vibration. So using standing wave efficiency, added mass, this mouthpiece does play more efficient. It does not change how dark or bright the mouthpiece is. In essence, it just makes it a little bit more efficient on most notes. Some partials, it may increase things more than a little bit. It might be a lot. It just depends on where your antinodes are landing. But that would mostly happen in the extreme upper register. So this mouthpiece, we're going to measure it out. I already did the throat, and this gauge pin barely fits in there. It is a 144. That's pretty consistent with a lot of Bach mouthpieces. They tend to be extremely small. 144 is very small, and you could go much larger to have more control of your airflow, and you could play much, much softer and louder on a larger throat. So if you own one of these and you want to really increase what you can do with it, I would recommend taking it to your local machine shop, asking them to open it up to a 150 all the way up to maybe a 165, and then you will discover some really cool things about your 5C that you couldn't do before. So I'm going to measure a few things. Overall length first. I like to have a baseline on that. 3, 4, 3, 8. Measuring the overall length can tell me, as a mouthpiece maker, give me some hints as to which machine it was made in the factory, or if it was made at the specific factory it's supposed to be made at. Because when you set up for production runs, a lot of times those little details are overlooked, and if I measure enough mouthpieces, I can match them all up to different production runs. I'm also going to measure the outside diameter. I don't know why it's not focusing. 1069. Okay, and then this one is interesting because I measured it earlier, and the rim diameter is not a 5C. Let me get it right on there. It is not a 5C. So it's bigger than a 5C. And I also have some marks here for the Harrelson system. All right, so it's a 612 in the 5mm. And the depth, I did not measure yet, but it's deeper than normal. So I figured it out earlier. This comes out to around a 1.5 B in Bach. Even though it's stamped 5C, it's more like a 1.5 B. The back bore is a little dinged up, so I should have probably cleaned that up before the video. 333. I'm guessing it was really a 335. You can see it's messed up. So the Bach 5C Megatone, this one here, really turns out to be a completely different mouthpiece. You want to be a little bit leery of the markings on Bach mouthpieces. And for whatever reason, Bach has either mistakenly stamped parts or they used the wrong tools when they were doing a production run. I don't know what happened really. I can't recreate what's going on there. All I can do is measure the mouthpieces and report it back to you. But this one has the big stamp. They're all caps, Vincent Bach 5C, and it definitely is closer to a 1B. I have no problem with that because I enjoy mouthpieces like the 1B. Oh, and it does bottom out in my receiver. So I'm going to open up my receiver and put a different insert inside so that that no longer bottoms out. And with the VGR, the Venturi gap receiver on Harrelson trumpets, then we can set the gap with any mouthpiece, and if it bottoms out, I just put a different insert in there that provides more or less shoulder to narrow the gap. So now we get it to fit just fine. I probably have more gap than I need, but that'll be fine for this video. feels like a fairly big bowl and a fairly big diameter. It feels just a hair bigger than the diameter I normally play. Definitely not a 5C. So this rim is more round than most other brand rims. It's fairly rounded on the inside and the outside, meaning the inside radius and the outside radius are larger. And I don't mind that roundness because I don't use much pressure, and the roundness means there's less surface contact on my lips, so that I can change my aperture to bigger and smaller like this. And when I do that, it's easier to do on a round mouthpiece because it's not gripping my lips as much. It gives me more freedom to move around, so I can be more flexible. It's very easy to slide around on this mouthpiece. So it doesn't cut in the upper register. It kind of thins out, and that's really a product of that larger bowl and the shape of it. So it's not the best lead mouthpiece. You could play up high, but it really has a robust, big sound like you'd find on a 1C or a 1B in Bach.